Hello, hello, hello. This is the Vanilla JS podcast. I'm Chris Ferdinandi. Thanks for joining me. Today, I'm talking about feeling stuck when you're trying to learn JavaScript. I've been seeing more and more emails from folks who are trying to learn JS and feel like they're in a bit of a rut. They've watched some videos, read some tutorials, maybe even followed along, but when they go to write code themselves, nothing. They can't figure out where to start. They feel overwhelmed, like things just aren't clicking. So if this is you, or if you've ever been there, I just want you to know that you're not alone. In fact, I went through this myself when I was first trying to learn. I think I started trying to learn JavaScript about 3 or 4 times before things actually clicked. I tried to go through a couple of those free video courses and things like that, and I felt like there was always a little bit something that I was missing. In my experience, the biggest reason this happens is because people try to jump into projects that are too big too soon. So one of the other kind of categories of email I get from people is folks who are just starting out. They have no experience with JavaScript at all yet. And they want to, quote, build an app and want me to recommend where they should start. That's a huge task. There's so many moving parts. Like you take like a to-do app, for example. You need to detect when users mark items as completed or unmark them as completed when they want to delete things. You need to keep track of people creating to-do items, maybe even creating separate lists for different to-do items, wanting to move those items from one list to another. There are just so many moving parts. You need to figure out what in the UI or the DOM to update. You need to save the data somewhere. Oftentimes, these folks often want users to be able to like sign in and access their data from anywhere. So then you need to think about backend where you can manage users and maybe have some APIs, and you need to be able to sync this data across different devices. It's a really cool, fun project. Like I've done it before. It's awesome. But the amount of inertia that you need to overcome as a beginner to do something like that is way too great. Even some intermediate projects can be too much when you're just trying to learn. Learning momentum, in my opinion, is one of the most important parts of the learning experience. People who are just learning need to feel that thrill of, I knew nothing about this 15 minutes ago, and now I've written code that makes things happen in the browser. It's an absolutely exhilarating experience. It's the thing that keeps me coming back to this job day after day. And it keeps you motivated to push through the tough stuff. So my advice for beginners is to pick a really, really simple project and start there. Maybe it's just a script that mirrors the text that you type in a text area somewhere else on the page. So like you write some words and they show up somewhere else. Or a checkbox that shows and hides a password field. Or a button that reveals and collapses some hidden text. Just really, really simple projects just to get you used to kind of the mechanics of writing code. If it helps, I've got a list of projects and templates that help you get started over at learnvanillajs.com. I will put a link to that in the show notes. My Vanilla.js Academy program is very much of that same kind of mindset, except it's a little bit more guided, and I give you solutions every other day. We have some office hours and a Slack channel to kind of help you if you get stuck on stuff. And I'll put a link to that in the show notes as well. But like the really important thing here is start small, iterate, and grow your skills a little bit each day. So you can take a small project and make it bigger over time. So like that thing with the checkbox that shows and hides password fields. When I work on this with students, initially it's one checkbox, reveal the field. The next day, we'll take that same checkbox and we'll make it work with multiple fields inside a form. And then the next day after that, we'll take that same script and we'll modify it so that you can use multiple forms on a page and have a checkbox only show passwords in that one form. And so you iterate on these things and you build them up over time, because learning is a journey. It's not a sprint. And I think where I see most people kind of fall flat is they try and do too much up front because they're really excited about this idea of trying to build like an app or a big project, or like I know stuff, I learned this stuff, I want to go put it to use to build something really big and cool. Like I totally get it. It's awesome. It's one of the most exciting things about this job, but you need to really start small and just kind of build your way up. So that's it for today. If you want to finally master JavaScript, head over to vanillajsguides.com and check out my pocket guides and video courses. They're short, focused, and made for beginners. And you'll learn the ins and outs of a topic in under an hour. So see you next time. Cheers.